Hey guys, welcome back. So my name is Jared Friends and this is Merritt Motor Co. We are an automotive preservation firm located just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. A lot of our services that we render here, dry ice cleaning, laser cleaning, factory retouches. A lot of our work is very, very unique in the sense that the type of cars that come to us are usually very unique in their own regard, either low production numbers, original, low mileage. And we get so many cars in that we very rarely have the chance to slow down and tell the story of every single car. However, every once in a while, we get a car that is so cool, so unique, so special that it forces us to slow down and shoot a little bit of content to show you guys exactly what the car is and tell a little bit of the history of not only the car, some of the production numbers, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy what we have on the lift here today. So over here to my left, we have a 1987 Porsche 959. Now, if you're a Porsche person, you're probably geeking out like the rest of us because these cars are so special, so unique. This car set so many benchmarks in its own regard. When it was produced, it was the fastest at the time street legal production car ever made. These cars made for a very few years from 1986 to 1988. Originally, they were only built as track cars, and they are a 2.8 twin turbo pushing 444 horsepower, weighing just under, I believe, 3,200 pounds. That car, designed for Group B rally, then goes into a street production to be homologized. Miller might have to splice in the word.
Homologize.
I always stumble over it, but maybe we'll put it up in big bubble letters and I'll take a couple of voice lessons. That car goes into, by FIA regulations, has to have 200 units produced in order to be able to meet that criteria. And so is born the legend of the 959. So this 959 came to us by way of Hendrick Porsche in Charlotte, North Carolina. This car is actually getting ready and is going to be going through this full preservation, this factory correct preservation that's going to be for the Porsche Classic Restoration Challenge. This car is going to be their 2025 entrant, and we're very excited to be part of that. So we were contacted by the group to go through, do a very comprehensive dry ice cleaning, remove all of the very heavy Cosmoline. As you can see, this car has been very liberally coated with the Cosmoline. This car is very unique in so many reasons outside of the fact that it's a 959. This car's pedigree goes back a long, long way into the story to today. This car has 1,700 miles on it from the factory, 1,700 miles. This car's never been road driven. This car has been primarily just a track car, and until recently hadn't been running since the late 90s, early 2000s. Hendrick Porsche, Charlotte, North Carolina, has got this car back on its feet again and has delivered it to us here at Merritt to do our work. The significance of why this car has so few mileage is because it was originally purchased by GM, General Motors, to be broken down and looked at by their group of engineers to then build the Corvette ZR1 concept, suspension, braking, just basically to take this apart, see what Porsche did, how they were able to pack all of this into one package, and then what GM could do to then replicate it. Car was put on the track and driven 200 miles an hour through the paces, and then just parked. And the car had sat there, parked for a term, until a very significant and prominent member of the car collecting world had seen it during a conference call and said, "Hey, what is that? I'd like to have it," and now it's in his private collection. You may know that individual if you've ever watched any MoCo or you follow Corvettes or really anything at that point in time. Rick Hendrick is a world-class collector, an individual that continues to set the bar higher and higher when it comes to the quality of the cars that he collects, and we feel very privileged to play a very small part in this car's history. If you followed our channel for a while, you know last year we did the 904 that was previously owned by Jerry Seinfeld. Loved the car. The car was just spectacular, phenomenal. I get the same type of feeling now with this 959 sitting in the same exact spot. Now, through the series of this video, you guys are gonna see us doing a lot of dry ice cleaning. Our approach when it comes to a car like this, because it requires us to be perfect, meaning very few people in the jobs that they have are in a business where they cannot make a mistake, because your mistake is irreversible. And the individuals that are in those positions understand how high stress that is, but understand that their jobs require them to be perfect. And our technicians under that same exact ideology. So as we move through this car, there's no rule book on what your settings should be or how quickly you can do something. The car always dictates that. So our work is largely going to be based on the car's participation. And as we start cleaning, the car is going to let us know how far we can go, how fast we can go, the different types of settings, and the different types of cleaning solutions that we can use. And so there's going to be a lot of handwork, a lot of manual work that's going to be done on this car outside of a lot of dry ice cleaning. And I am so very excited to be able to see what the end result of this car is going to be. I can't wait. I'm pretty jazzed. We're going to start here in this little corner, get our settings dialed in, and by the time we have this done, that's pretty much going to give us or unlock the key to what we can use setting-wise to go through and clean a majority of this car. Let's get it. What's cool about this is if you look at this side that was just cleaned, right? And you can notice some of this stuff is actually really stuck on. You have to almost scratch it off with your fingernail. And with a pretty conservative ice setting, we were able to remove it. So look at this side compared to that side. All right, so we've done a little bit of cleaning here. And so you can see one half that's been cleaned versus the other half, obviously, that hasn't been cleaned. Now, a couple of things that I want you guys to consider. All of the finishes, like I've said 100 times in every single video, are all completely different. So on these cars, slower is actually faster, right? And what I love about this and what's very unique is you can see how light the finish is up here, and I hope I'm not casting some shadows, but you can see the coating, it's nice and thick here, and then as you move up here, it's really light. But if you come over to the section over here that's not cleaned, you can see the same exact thing. So it's really important when you're cleaning that you're not always chasing results too far, because then you can actually do a little bit more irreversible damage. And if you try to get everything to match this, that's not how the car would originally be. You can see the lightening of this patterning up here, but then you can also see it through the thick coating here on this side. So again, slower is faster, especially on these cars that there's less than a couple hundred of them ever made. I'm pretty happy with the results, and hopefully we can make this entire engine bay sparkle just like this intake. No water, no chemicals, no hand scrubbing, dry ice. All right, so we've been working on the 959 now for a few hours, and we're making some really great progress. Now, here at Merritt, we have cleaned a lot of Porsches over our tenure, and I have never seen one with this heavy cosmoline buildup. This has to be the most gnarly cosmoline buildup I've ever seen. And what that's forcing us to do is clean the area multiple times over, which is fine because, again, this is a 959, 1,700 original miles. Story, the pedigree behind this car is unequivocally awesome. And so we don't want to go too fast. And so we've dialed back our settings, and we are taking our time, making sure that we don't open up any areas that we don't want to. However, you can see the difference, and we've cleaned a majority of the driver's side half, and we've left the passenger side half, so you can see the difference between these surfaces, and it is astounding. We're not done. We'll still have to clean all of this surface probably 2 more times because the cosmoline is so thick. You clean one area and then it sticks behind it. And then so if you're blasting from the front to back, you're always constantly just moving that cosmoline back. And so as we work through this car, the progress that we're making is still very, very quick compared to any other solution. One of our lead techs, Mark, had tried to put a cosmoline remover, like an agent, a spray on it, just so we could see. And it doesn't even touch the cosmoline. Like, you could almost chisel this stuff back if it weren't so sticky. So dry ice, really the only mechanism to be able to remove this efficiently while still preserving all those chalk marks, all those finishes, the hoses, all of these other aspects of these cars. Here in a moment, we're gonna show you guys going over a few areas like some stickers that have a lot of cosmoline buildup, some of the suspension components, so you guys can see just how well this thing cleans up. Okay guys, so behind us we have the 959 that has literally, it's been an amazing experience having this car in the shop. It has been a trying experience in part due to the amount of information out there. To my knowledge, I don't know of anyone else that's ever dry ice cleaned a 959. We may be the first ones in the world. Maybe somebody can leave a comment if that's not true. However, there's very limited amount of information out there that we had to go on as far as what finishes, what should be where all the chalk marks are. The inner wheel openings of this car were so black, and we can splice in a before picture. It looked like somebody had taken like roofing tar and slathered it on the inside of these wheel openings. We were able to clean 80% of them really, really quickly, and the 20%, the fine detail that separates work from craftsmanship, is really where we spent the last few days focusing. We're really happy with the results that have come out of the labor of this car. And like anything, you can always spend more time. We spent a pretty significant amount of time on this car, given the fact that it's going to the Porsche Classic Restoration Challenge, the fact that it's being completely brought back to life by Hendrick Porsche in Charlotte. We wanted to make sure we delivered them a really clean product so they can go through and do the rest of their mechanical investigation work and make sure that this car is tip-top shape for years to come. Come with us and I'll show you some of the fun stuff that we got into along the way. Okay, so here we have the original factory exhaust from our 959. Now, If you remember correctly, when we started, this exhaust was installed on the car. We'd removed all the heat shields and removed the exhaust itself because we wanted to take out all of the rust, all of the kind of the oxidation, all the bluing that was in this exhaust piece and give them back something really, really clean, really special. Now, we could have used our laser on this exhaust. I did a test piece. I just didn't like the finish that the laser was giving us, and I wanted something that was a bit more subdued, something that just kind of flowed with the regular finishes of the car instead of looking so shiny. So we did all the handwork on this exhaust, cleaned it all up, and I'm pretty excited with the overall finish of this exhaust, and I think it's going to just top off all the other work that we did on this car quite nicely. So like I said, there were so many things on this car that you don't know what should be there and what should be where. So this had some different inner liners, and so as we were cleaning, we originally thought these inner wheel openings were just painted black, like a 930 or an M491. That's how heavy they were. You had no indication that it was body color. However, given the fact that these cars were made, in the mid to late 80s, very, very closely related to the fit and finishes of air-cooled cars at the time. And so we were pretty confident that we knew exactly what the finishes should be based off all the other cars that we've done over the years here at Merritt. One of the cool things that we found when we started working were some of these chalk numbers. And so here you can see we've cleaned this headlight bucket, and this is all fiberglass, and you can see this is all original paint. This 97 was here, and we were gonna start cleaning all the cosmoline off, and we wanted to actually keep the cosmoline and keep that pencil mark there, just as kind of like a head nod to the originality. That was probably the best most rewarding part of this project as we were moving through it, was just unearthing, really. I felt like an automotive archaeologist. All of the different paint, all of the different chalk markings, removing all of it without taking all the paint from factory. And so if you remember correctly, these control arms were black. They looked like they'd been spray painted black. You couldn't see any of the markings on any of these bolt heads, and the fact that now we had this presentation from a 1,700 mile 959 that has spent most of the 1,700 miles of its life at 200 miles an hour, that's never been titled. This car is such a historically correct piece to have not had any restoration work, only preservation work done to it, and then be able to take it even a step further and uncover all of those markings is something that we find extremely rewarding. And given the fact that there are other samples out there, we feel pretty confident that it's safe to assume that the other 959s most likely look like the start canvas that we received here. And hopefully this footage finds its way into the hands of other enthusiasts, possibly other owners, that can see what we started with and then what we were able to deliver back to Mr. Hendrick and the Porsche Charlotte team as a finished result. We couldn't be more excited. We hope you guys enjoyed this journey, and we look forward to the next super rare car that we have the privilege of working on. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave us a comment, subscribe to our channel, and hopefully we've got another one right around the bend.